Every great journey begins with one moment, one decision, one person who believes in you. This is the story of Visal Roth, a boy who started with almost nothing, and teacher Samoul, a mentor who knew that discipline can change any life. Visal lived in a small, quiet village, surrounded by vast rice fields and dusty roads that seemed to stretch on forever. Life was a constant struggle. His family worked from sunrise to sunset, their hands calloused and their backs aching, yet they barely had enough. Every morning, long before the sun had fully risen, Visal's day began. He would walk to the distant pond, his small frame carrying 2 heavy buckets of water. Back home, he helped his parents feed the chickens and swept the dusty yard clean. Only then would he grab his old tattered school bag and begin the long walk to school. Some days, the sun beat down mercilessly. Other days, the rain soaked him to the bone. But he always went, because deep in his heart he held a silent, powerful dream. Visal wasn't the smartest student in his class. He wasn't the strongest boy in the village, nor was he the fastest runner. But he possessed something far more valuable, something special. He never, ever gave up. Inside the humble classroom, he would sit quietly at the very back, almost invisible. He listened intently. He watched everything. He tried his best, even when the lessons were confusing and the words on the blackboard swam before his eyes. One afternoon, long after the other children had run home, Visal remained at his desk, carefully copying notes from the board. That was the first time teacher Samoul truly noticed him. The teacher approached his desk, his footsteps soft. "Visal," he asked, his voice kind, "why do you stay late every day?" Visal looked up, his cheeks flushing with shyness. "Because I am slow, teacher," he mumbled, his eyes fixed on his notebook. Teacher Samoul smiled, a gentle, understanding smile. "You are not slow, Visal. You are careful. And careful people go very far in life." That single moment, those simple words changed something deep inside Visal. It was a spark in the darkness. From that day forward, teacher Samoul began to guide the young boy. He saw the fire within him, a fire that just needed a little air to grow into a blaze. "Visal," he would often say, "discipline is stronger than talent. Talent can be lazy, it can sleep, but discipline never sleeps." Inspired by his teacher's words, Visal began to build new habits, one small brick at a time. He started waking up earlier, sometimes even before the first rooster crowed, just to have a few extra minutes to read. Every night, no matter how tired he was, he reviewed his lessons. He bought a small, cheap notebook and began writing down his goals. But this new path was not an easy one. It was filled with obstacles and moments of despair. There were days he failed tests, his heart sinking with each red mark. There were days the lessons felt like a foreign language he could never understand. And there were many, many days he felt exhausted, discouraged, and utterly alone. One rainy afternoon, the gray sky mirroring his mood, Visal sat alone outside the classroom. He held his little notebook, his small hands trembling. "I try so hard," he whispered to himself, tears welling up in his eyes. "But maybe I'm just not good enough." Just then, teacher Samoul came and sat next to him on the damp step. He didn't say anything at first, simply sharing the quiet moment. Then he spoke softly. "Visal, listen to me. Success is not about being good instantly. It's about becoming a little better every single day." He gently pointed at the notebook in Visal's hands. "Open it," he said. Visal hesitated, then opened the book. Inside, his goals were written, some with clumsy handwriting, others with spelling mistakes. "You see?" Teacher Samoul continued, "Even your goals are not perfect. But look at the first page, and now look at the last one. They are improving. And so are you." Visal looked down at his own writing, at the evidence of his own small daily efforts. He wiped his tears, and as he stood up, a new strength filled him. That night, for the very first time, Visal studied not with fear, but with a quiet, growing confidence. Years passed. The small, shy boy transformed. Visal became the most disciplined student in his entire school. He wasn't just focused on his own studies anymore. He would stay behind to help clean the classroom without being asked. He started tutoring the younger students who were struggling, patiently explaining what he himself had once found so difficult. After his own homework was done, He practiced writing essays, filling page after page, his handwriting growing neater and his thoughts clearer. He read any book he could get his hands on, even books that were old and worn, their pages filled with the wisdom of generations before him. But even as he improved, the journey remained painful. Some of his friends started to laugh at him. "Why are you trying so hard?" they'd mock. "You'll never be anything more than a farmer's son." Others whispered behind his back, saying he was just wasting his time. But Visal learned to turn their doubts into fuel for his own determination. When the world doubted him, he chose not to doubt himself. One evening, as he was deep in study, the single light bulb in his small home flickered and died, plunging the house into darkness. Undeterred, he lit a candle and continued to read. The candle slowly burned down, its flame shrinking until it too was gone. But the night was clear, and a bright moon hung in the sky. Visal simply took his book and went outside, continuing his studies under the soft, silvery moonlight. Later that night, teacher Samoul was walking through the village and saw his student, sitting on the ground, completely absorbed in his book, bathed in the light of the moon. He was moved. "Visal," he asked, his voice full of admiration, "why do you push yourself so much?" Visal looked up from his book, his eyes shining. "Because I want a better life," he said with conviction. "For my family and for myself." Teacher Samoul nodded slowly. "That," he said, "is the spirit that changes destinies." Under the silent moon, the mentor and his student shared a profound silence, the powerful silence of growth. After finishing school, Visal made the difficult decision to leave his village and move to the city. The beginning was incredibly hard. The city was a roaring, overwhelming beast of noise, people, and towering buildings. It was a new environment with new people and a whole new set of challenges that tested him every single day. He felt lost and insignificant. But he did not forget the most important lesson he had learned. He did not forget his discipline. He found a small job and worked tirelessly. He continued to learn, not just from books, but from every experience, every mistake, every person he met. He failed. He got knocked down. But he always stood back up, again and again and again. Hard work became his identity. Discipline became his unbreakable weapon. Slowly, gradually, things began to change. The small successes started to add up. Visal built a career, step by painstaking step. He started sending money home, first a little, then more and more. He helped his family repair their home and live more comfortably. He began to support his old village, funding projects to improve the school and the lives of the children who now sat in the same classroom he once had. The people who had once doubted him now spoke his name with admiration and respect. He became a symbol of hope, the young man who came from nothing and built a life through sheer force of will. One day, after many years had passed, a successful and confident Visal returned to his village. He walked down the familiar dusty roads, a wave of memories washing over him. He made his way to his old school and walked into his classroom, and there he was. Teacher Samoul, a little older, his hair a little grayer, but still teaching with the same passion and fire in his eyes. Visal quietly approached him from behind. "Teacher," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I am who I am today because of you." Teacher Samoul turned and a warm, proud smile spread across his face. "No, Visal," he replied, placing a hand on his former student's shoulder. "I only opened a small door for you. You were the one who had the courage to walk through it. You built your future with your own discipline." They stood there together in the quiet classroom. 2 generations, one incredible story, and one timeless lesson. Remember this. Your past does not decide your future. Your discipline does. Just like Visal Roth, you can rise from nothing, fight through everything, and become anything you want to be. Your journey to greatness doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It begins today. It begins right now. Thank you for watching.